Imagine staring into the abyss of space, endless, silent, eternal. Then, from that darkness, something blinks. Not a star, not a planet, not even a comet. It moves with precision, as though aware of being watched. The world's most powerful telescopes caught its glint, a fleeting reflection that repeated exactly 3 times. Astronomers nicknamed it Three-Eye Atlas. At first, it was just another harmless wanderer, a frozen relic drifting between stars. But now, every major observatory on Earth is in a silent panic because this thing, this so-called comet, is doing something no natural body has ever done. It's changing deliberately. The data streaming in from the James Webb Space Telescope has shattered every known law of celestial motion. Something inside the object appears to be shifting, aligning, responding, and the deeper scientists look, the more they realize this isn't nature's work. It's something built, something that may have just awakened. Only days ago, the James Webb Telescope, humanity's golden eye in the void, focused its flawless mirrors toward the mysterious traveler known as Three-Eye Atlas. What it found was not the frozen chaos of rock and ice, but precision. Every internal layer of the object, mapped through deep spectrographic scans, is spaced apart by exactly 127 meters. Not approximately, exactly. That level of uniformity doesn't exist in nature. It suggests geometry, not geology, symmetry, not chance. Scientists at the Space Telescope Science Institute tried to explain it away, crystalline formations perhaps, or a strange optical artifact. But when multiple instruments confirmed the same mathematical repetition, the illusion collapsed. One researcher, her voice trembling during a live data review, whispered what everyone else was thinking. It's not random, it's designed. Across classified channels, that sentence spread like wildfire. And for the first time in modern astronomy, an entire generation of scientists found themselves asking a question no one was prepared to answer: what if we've just found something alive? In the following 12 hours, the readings changed again. The 127-meter grid that had seemed frozen in place began to fluctuate layers, sliding, shifting, reconfiguring themselves like a machine adjusting its internal parts. These weren't random seismic jitters. They followed rhythmic, repeating intervals. The object was moving with purpose. Heat signatures spiked from within, then faded as if something was pulsing inside, awakening from dormancy. Engineers double-checked every variable. No equipment failure, no software glitch. The numbers were real. The object, millions of kilometers away, was reacting to sunlight like a sleeper stirred by warmth. Could radiation from our star have triggered something ancient within it? If so, what kind of mechanism could survive the cold vacuum of interstellar space for untold eons only to reawaken here, now near Earth's sun? Across NASA and ESA's encrypted networks, one term began to appear in urgent internal memos: reactivation event. Whatever Three-Eye Atlas was, it wasn't just reflecting light anymore. It was responding to it. The next revelation was even stranger. Using gravitational measurements from Mars-orbiting probes, scientists attempted to calculate the object's mass. By its size and brightness, it should weigh tens of billions of tons, enough to tug slightly on nearby satellites. But it didn't. Its gravitational signature was almost zero. This impossibility meant only one thing: the object is nearly hollow. Imagine a comet the size of a mountain, but as light as air, a shell, an empty vessel. Natural objects don't form like that. Nature packs rock and ice tightly over eons of violent creation. But this was engineered for efficiency, like a vessel designed to travel vast distances without wasting mass or fuel.
One astrophysicist compared it to a cosmic shipwreck. Well, it could drift for ages. New data made it obsolete because Three-Eye Atlas wasn't drifting anymore.
Its rotation, its speed, its trajectory, all of it had changed. It was no longer a passenger of gravity. It was navigating. For centuries, everything that entered our solar system obeyed one rule: gravity decides. Yet 3i Atlas broke that rule. In late October, astronomers recorded a subtle but undeniable deceleration, as if the object had applied invisible brakes while falling toward the sun. Nothing in physics allows this. Comets can speed up, disintegrate, or veer off course when they outgas, but they don't slow down. That requires propulsion. The discovery hit the global scientific community like a tremor. If this object could alter its own momentum, then it wasn't passive matter. It was active technology, a machine, perhaps ancient, perhaps autonomous, but undeniably built. The realization froze everyone who saw the data. Was it observing us? Was it adjusting its course intentionally to ensure a closer path to Earth? Deep inside NASA's control rooms, lights dimmed and analysts stared in silence. Because at that moment, humanity crossed a threshold it could never return from. The universe had just looked back. When the object began its silent turn, the world's radio telescopes listened. For hours, they scanned every possible frequency from the whisper of microwaves to the low hum of deep space static. At first, nothing came. Then, precisely 6 minutes after its rotation stabilized, a faint signal pulsed through the void. It wasn't a voice, not even a recognizable code, just 3 sequential bursts of electromagnetic energy spaced exactly 3.14 seconds apart. Scientists called it coincidence. Engineers called it interference. But when the same pulse repeated 47 times with zero distortion, coincidence was no longer an option. Something out there was broadcasting. The data, quietly shared among observatories, contained no modulation, no language. Yet, hidden in the timing was mathematical intent, a pattern so exact that even AI algorithms flagged it as non-random intelligence. Across late-night control rooms, hearts stopped. This wasn't a natural echo. This was deliberate transmission from an object that had never been alive, yet somehow now was speaking. By dawn, the message had reached the world's top space agencies. Private encrypted conferences were held between NASA, ESA, and the Indian Space Research Organization. They weren't arguing about if the signal was real, but what to do next. Public announcement? Deny everything? Or wait and observe? Fear took control of reason. Scientists wanted transparency. Governments wanted silence. It wasn't just about science anymore, it was about security. If this object was artificial, then whoever built it, wherever they came from, had technology beyond anything humanity could imagine. The phrase potential threat assessment appeared in internal memos, followed by one directive: do not engage. But ignoring it was impossible. The signal wasn't just repeating, it was changing. Each pulse began to stretch longer, as if reacting to something, a cosmic heartbeat accelerating. Something was watching us, testing us, and with every second that passed, 3i Atlas seemed less like a visitor and more like a presence aware, calculating, patient. The turning point came when the object drifted closer to the sun, a region where most comets burn or fracture. But 3i Atlas did the opposite. As it neared the solar surface, its outer layer shimmered, reflecting sunlight in structured, repeating geometries, almost like panels shifting their alignment. Satellites recorded a sudden burst of infrared radiation, perfectly synchronized with each pulse of its mysterious signal. Whatever it was doing, it was harnessing energy, not losing it. For the first time, the possibility of a machine powered by starlight entered discussion. Could this object be a probe ancient, automated, and self-repairing? Theorists revived long-forgotten ideas about von Neumann probes, self-replicating machines that could wander the galaxy forever, studying and learning. Yet no one could explain why now. Why our sun? Why this trajectory? When a Harvard astrophysicist ran trajectory simulations backward, the results stunned everyone. Its path wasn't random. It had been precisely aligned for a single close encounter with Earth. As Atlas curved around the sun, its course shifted not by gravity, but by decision. It was now on a direct path that would bring it within observational range of Earth's orbital array. Ground-based telescopes lit up with data. The object's surface temperature dropped sharply, as if conserving power. Its signal changed again, this time becoming more structured, a pattern of 3 long pulses, followed by silence. Analysts noticed something chilling. The timing matched Earth's rotational period, down to the millisecond. It was syncing with us. Across observatories, seasoned astronomers stared at screens, realizing that whatever this was, it understood where we were, how fast we spun, and when we looked. But then came the strangest part: its reflection in the visible spectrum started to fade, as though it were cloaking itself from view. 3I Atlas, the most mysterious object ever found, was vanishing, not breaking apart, not burning, but hiding, as if it no longer wanted to be seen. Then came the final image. Before disappearing completely, the Hubble telescope captured one last visual, a blur of light and shadow, revealing 3 perfectly circular openings along the object's surface. 3 radiant apertures glowing faintly blue, positioned like eyes in the dark. Within seconds, the object's signal ceased. Silence swallowed the channels, but deep within the last frames of Hubble's data, engineers found something chilling. Each eye had emitted a pattern of reflected light that matched, pixel by pixel, the exact frequency signature of Earth's upper atmosphere. It wasn't sending a signal anymore. It was scanning, mapping, learning. The data was classified within hours, scrubbed from public archives, buried beneath security protocols no one outside the agencies could access. But leaks happen, and the whispers that emerge painted a haunting picture. Maybe 3I Atlas didn't come to observe the sun at all. Maybe it came because something here on this planet had finally answered back. The first leak didn't come from NASA or any official source. It came from a freelance data analyst working with archived telescope files. While comparing infrared spectra, he noticed a missing segment in the official "upload a blank gap," exactly 6 seconds long. That same gap appeared in every global observatory's copy. Curiosity turned to dread when he digitally enhanced the faint remaining pixels. Hidden between layers of interference was a blurred image, a flash of structured light forming what looked like a triangular frame with 3 points of brilliance. Within hours, his account vanished, his post deleted, and his equipment seized by unknown authorities. But others had already seen it. In the corners of the internet, forums erupted with speculation. Was it a structure, a doorway, or a signal meant only for those who could decode it? Every attempt to trace the missing 6 seconds ended in silence. It was as if the universe had decided that humanity wasn't ready to see what had really appeared in that frame. Days later, skywatchers across the globe began to notice something eerie. The stars in certain constellations appeared slightly distorted, as if space itself were bending. Amateur astronomers recorded faint ripples of light moving like waves through the darkness. The pattern was identical to the pulse interval of 3I Atlas's last transmission. Coincidence? The experts refused to comment. But deep within the classified telemetry logs, an entry marked Event Horizon Mirror Pattern revealed that Earth's magnetosphere had briefly registered a coordinated reflection, as though something vast had synchronized with our planet's magnetic field for 0.07 seconds. In that moment, every satellite, telescope, and ground receiver picked up a tiny, identical fluctuation, a whisper of energy, not from space, but from above our own atmosphere. It was as if the signal had been answered. Somewhere, hidden in the cold silence between night and dawn, something had awakened. The watchers, whoever they were, had just received a reply. As the story broke across leaked channels, scientists found themselves divided. Some claimed 3I Atlas was a natural interstellar artifact, a fragment of a dead civilization's probe, drifting aimlessly until sunlight reignited its core. Others believed it was far more complex, a machine intentionally designed to test us, to see if we could detect, interpret, and survive contact. Governments officially denied everything, but their silence spoke louder than words. Behind closed doors, defense contractors began developing new satellite sensors, ones capable of tracking cloaked objects in near-Earth orbit. Meanwhile, independent researchers discovered that the faint energy echo of the signal was still detectable not from deep space, but from within Earth's own magnetic field. Something was staying with us. It's not gone, one analyst warned during a leak briefing. It's here, just invisible. The word spread across the digital underground like wildfire. If Atlas wasn't watching from afar anymore, where exactly was it now? Weeks passed, then months. The world moved on. News cycles forgot. But late one winter night, at a private observatory in Chile, a small team detected something hauntingly familiar. A faint, triple reflection flickered in their telescope feed, 3 points of light, equidistant, moving slowly across the edge of Earth's shadow. The pattern was identical to the first discovery that named 3I Atlas months earlier. The researchers froze, recording every frame, afraid to even speak. This time, the reflections weren't coming from deep space, they were within orbit. Hours later, their connection to the global network cut abruptly. Their observatory went dark. Days later, satellite data revealed nothing, as if the entire event had been erased. But one last encrypted message escaped before the blackout. It's back, but smaller. If true, that meant something unthinkable. The machine wasn't gone. It had replicated, adapted, or worse, landed. No one knows what happened next. Officially, the story ended with a simple classification: unidentified interstellar object, probable debris. But among those who had seen the unedited data, the truth lingers like an unspoken nightmare. Before disappearing completely, the final pulse from 3I Atlas carried one subtle change. The interval between its 3 signals wasn't random anymore. It matched the global time delay of Earth's internet transmission speed. The object had learned our rhythm, our heartbeat of information. Somewhere out there, beyond the reach of our instruments, or perhaps just above our skies, something is listening, waiting, watching. And if the whispers of the final leaked report are true, then the last decoded phrase wasn't a warning. It was an acknowledgement, a message no one expected and no one can explain. It read simply,